What's going on everyone and welcome to another video. So Manfrotto sent me their Mover 50 backpack and I've got to be quite honest, I'm not entirely sure why because this backpack came out in 2017 so it's 5 years old now, but I'm glad they did because it's actually pretty great. So I've been using this backpack for street photography, landscape photography, pretty much everything I've been doing for the last few months. So this bag currently retails for around £139 on the Manfrotto website, but you can get it cheaper if you go on Amazon or eBay or something like that. And the fact that this is 5 years old, there's a good chance you'll be able to pick this up pretty cheap secondhand. Because this bag has been out for so long, I'm not going to be doing like a full in-depth review of every single feature that this bag has, because there's tons of reviews already on YouTube that do that. What I will be doing is giving my honest thoughts, and I will do a quick spec run-off, but before I do that, what camera bag are you using right now? Let me know down in the comments and why you recommend it. So, spec run-off, let's go. The bag has a high quality outer shell made of ballistic fabric and it's been treated to make it water repellent. Good for peace of mind if you're someone that likes shooting in the rain. The camera compartment has an opening that faces your back, making it hard for anyone to steal your gear. It can fit a DSLR with a 70-200 lens and 4 extra lenses in the main compartment, and all of the dividers are removable and customizable, and you also get a flexi divider here. There's also a top compartment, and in here you can fit a mirrorless camera with a zoom lens attached and 1 extra lens, and there's a flexi divider here as well if you want to use it. You also get a side compartment, and this is for water. This will not fit a tripod. I've tried, it doesn't work, and even if you manage to fit one, there's no strap above it to keep it in place. So as it turns out, when I was recording the B-roll for this video, you actually can get a tripod in the side here. However, this is a very slimline carbon fiber travel tripod. You won't be able to get in something bigger. If you do want to add a tripod, you do get these external tripod connections which you can use for bike helmets or whatever you want really. There's a number of zipped compartments, including an area specifically for laptops up to 15.6 inch and tablets up to 9.7 inch. And this is where the bag kind of shows its age, because right now I don't think there's any iPads available at the 9.7 inch, maybe the iPad mini, but all of the others are a bit bigger than that. So if you have one of the newer iPads, you're going to struggle to fit this in the bag if you have a laptop as well. But what I do is I just put the iPad in the laptop compartment. There's also a rain cover for when it's really bad outside. And the bag also has a little strap here that you can attach to suitcases. And this is nice as well if you want to put this on your suitcase and carry it around an airport or something like that. And best of all, you get waist straps. Now you might be thinking that this isn't important, there's so many bags that don't bother putting on waist straps, and I guess that's just because they think it looks better. But let me tell you, as someone who hikes quite a bit, waist straps are great for taking pressure off your shoulders and just making the weight distribution a lot better. And in terms of the bag's weight, it weighs around 1.58 kilos. So it's not particularly lightweight, but it's not incredibly heavy either. And for street photography, commuting, whatever, it's fine. I've used this plenty of times walking around London doing street photography and I've never felt like this has been heavy. So what's good about this bag then? Well, firstly, there is a crazy amount of space. You'll fit so much in here, and as someone who shoots primarily mirrorless with the A7 III as well, I'm a bit spoiled for space. This means I can put other accessories in, or snacks. It's always good to put a few snacks in your bag. We do get these little metal pull tabs, and these look quite nice. They don't really add anything to the bag other than making it look a bit more premium, but it's still a nice feature to have. I'd have liked to have seen more security features on this backpack. Some bags include zippers that you can fold into each other, so it makes it harder to unzip them, but you can use a padlock on here if you want. So one of the big selling points of this bag, and a pretty good feature, is the removable camera divider section. So you can actually take out this entire internal section, and you can just use the backpack then as a standard backpack. This is quite a good feature because it means you could just buy this bag and then you've got a camera bag and a normal backpack depending on what you want to be doing with it. If you're like me and you've got 4 or 5 different backpacks, then this probably won't make a difference, just adding an extra one. But for people who want to save space and don't want to have a lot of different backpacks, then having this and being able to basically get a 2-for-1 is a really good feature. When it comes to comfort, I found this backpack incredibly comfortable. The straps offer a lot of cushioning and support, and I've never found them sort of digging in on my shoulders or anything like that. This backpack's just been really comfortable, and especially with those waist straps as well, taking that pressure off your shoulders is really important. I've taken this backpack on a few hikes, and quite honestly, it may be one of my favorite backpacks to use at the moment. I do have a few other backpacks, like a Lower Pro backpack and a, is it PG Tech Onemo? Yeah, that backpack as well. That's quite an expensive one, and I do prefer the Manfrotto, quite honestly, because of those waist straps. And to be entirely honest, the Mover 50 surprised me. You know, when it first came, I thought it looked a bit blocky, and it wouldn't necessarily be that comfortable. But in terms of all the backpacks I've got, it seems to offer the best comfort to space ratio. So, you know, you've got a lot of space in here for all your kit, but it's also comfortable as well. But I do have a few complaints about the backpack as well. So firstly, the tripod buckle connections. And I think this is a really interesting design choice from Manfrotto, and I don't mean interesting necessarily in a good way, just an interesting choice because there are a few issues with it. So to access these straps, you need to unzip one of the side compartments on the backpack, and then the straps are there and you can just pull them out. And the way that you then use these is you then strap them across the front of the backpack, clip them in, and then you can put things behind it, like a tripod, a bike helmet, or a slider, or whatever it is you want to add to your backpack. But the problem with this is that once you've clipped in these straps, the strap now overlaps the other side compartment, which is for the laptop and iPad. So if you have a laptop and iPad inside the bag, in the compartment, you can't get access to it now unless you unclip the clips, which is really frustrating because if you're out and about, if you say you're in an airport and you've got your tripod on the back, you've got your camera gear in there, your laptop, and you want to get access to your laptop, you then need to go through the hassle of clipping off the tripod and then getting the laptop out and then clipping the tripod back in. It's just an extra thing that makes the bag a bit more inconvenient, which, when it comes to getting out there, taking photos, people in fast, moving environments, people that are going to work, commuters, street photography, whatever, convenience and speed is so important. And another thing to add to these straps is the tripod placement in general. So most bags have the tripod at the side, right? So you've got access here, you can get your tripod, no problem. The issue with this bag is that because the tripod is at the front, and the camera compartment is on the back-facing part of the backpack, if you want to get your camera stuff out and your tripod is still on the backpack, you have to set your tripod down on the ground every time to get your camera stuff out. The issue with that is that if you're in a sort of mountainous area and you're setting your tripod down on rocks, mud, dirt, whatever it is, this isn't going to be good for your tripod because, nobody wants a dirty tripod, and having to take it home and clean it is the last thing anybody wants to do. So is there a solution for this? Well, not really. What you'd have to do is every time you want to access your camera compartment, take the tripod off from the front, then set your camera back down and take your camera stuff out. This is another inconvenience added to this backpack. I just find it such a weird design choice to have this option here where the tripod's at the front and you're gonna have to keep taking it off to open the backpack, or setting your tripod down all the time on the ground. In fact, actually, I went on a hike and I recorded a small clip while I was there, so let's take a look at that. So one thing that I've noticed from using this bag is that the only place to put your tripod really is at the front in this little sort of strap section. But the annoying thing about that is every time you want to get your camera out, you need to put the bag flat on the tripod, which means depending if you've got like an expensive tripod or you don't want to get it muddy or dirty or whatever, then you're gonna have to keep taking it out every single time. And I think that is one really annoying thing about this bag, to be quite honest. Another thing I don't like is the fact that the laptop compartment is where it is. So if you have a tripod on the front of the camera bag and then you have a laptop in there, I've already mentioned that it's going to be hard to access. You're going to have to unclip it all and then access it. But then if you've got a laptop in your bag and you've also got a tripod on the back and you forget to take the tripod off before setting the camera bag down, then there's a potential risk of your tripod hitting your laptop and damaging it maybe. If you slam the bag down onto the tripod to get your camera gear out and you don't think, I can see that happening, and I'm sure it's probably happened to a few people that own this bag. It's never happened to me because I don't really take my laptop around with me. It's just added weight, so I don't really bring it. But for those of you who do, and you have a tripod as well, you're going to have to consciously think all the time, oh, I'm going to have to take my tripod off before I set the bag down because the tripod might dent the laptop or it might cause an issue there. So most of the issues I have with this backpack are related to the tripod placement. And then there's one final thing that I don't like too much about the backpack, and this is the zipped cover that goes over your camera gear. So this removable insert inside, it's great. You can take all your camera stuff out and then use the backpack as a backpack without any camera stuff at all. But the issue is that when this is actually back inside your backpack and you actually do want to use it as a camera bag, you have to roll down this material so that your camera stuff is actually accessible. If you zip up this section, or this cover if you like, then you're going to have to unzip it every time you want to access your camera gear. And this is just slow. No one wants to do this. So what most people are probably going to do is just keep this sort of cover unzipped, tuck it underneath the bottom so they can access their camera stuff when they open the back door. But now this means that you don't have any kind of cover or protection between your camera gear and the main opening. So if you're out and about and you forget to zip up the main... I went on a hike once and I forgot to zip up the back compartment, and then I threw on my backpack and my 70-200 flew out of my bag on the floor. Not a good experience, not a good sound either. So it's a weird choice to have this kind of safety zipped cover, if you like, but it goes all the way up to the top of the backpack. So actually unzipping it all the time is really inconvenient. I think it would have been better to have had like a half zip system. So, you open up the main compartment access and then you've got a little zipped area that you can just unzip, access your gear. Instead, this one goes all the way up to the top and it's just not easy to access. Now you could argue, well, why don't you just zip it halfway? But that excess material just makes it really difficult to manage. But that's pretty much it for the negatives of this backpack. And I've got to be honest, even though I'm talking about those things, they've never really been an issue when I've been out and about. I've never worried about my tripod damaging my laptop because, as I said, I don't really put my laptop in my bag, and I've not really worried about damaging my tripod either because, you know, you're out and about. Just be careful when you set it down, don't throw it down on the ground, and it should be fine. The only time it has been a real issue, as I said, was when I was on that hiking trip and it was really muddy and dirty and wet, and that was a moment where I was thinking I don't want to set my tripod down on the ground because it's going to get all muddy and wet and dirty, so I did have to take the tripod out first, then set the bag down, and then open up the compartment. It's an extra step, but it's not a huge problem. So there you have it, my review of the Mover 50 backpack from Manfrotto, a bag that probably outperforms most bags released in the last 5 years. It's a really great backpack, and as I said, I'm using it as my primary bag now. And I think that says something that I'm actually using this backpack that Manfrotto sent me over ones that I've bought myself, because I actually enjoy using it so much. But now it's down to you. You need to figure out if you think the bag is worth buying, and hopefully I'm hoping my video has helped you to make that decision. And that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like. It really helps out the channel. Subscribe, hit that bell icon, all that good stuff if you want to see more videos from me, and I'll see you in the next one.